What's going on, guys? JPP2 here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Monday. And for today's gameplay, we have a Prank Kids versus an UMI matchup with me as the prankster going first. Now, first of all, this is not a 60 cards deck video. This is a 45 cards deck video, as you guys are seeing right here. Also, another change is that instead of the 40 cards, I'm up to 45 along with the adventure engine that I added back to my deck list. Now to do that, I did take out a couple hand traps here and there. I did make a few changes here and there to my own deck list. And I'm still experimenting with the deck list. It's not a confirmed thing that I'll still be running the adventure engine in a couple of days once I'm done with this. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know what I think about this. So far it has been going pretty good for me. I went from Plat 3 to Plat 1 to Diamond 5 with the adventure engine in my deck list. I'm up to Diamond 4 currently, so let's get on with today's replay. Now this hand is pretty good. I wouldn't say good, I would say it's decent because we have no negation towards the hand traps. Now another thing I saw after the update, Mr. Reversal, one of my viewers did tell me about this, and I am seeing it in my ranked matches right now, is that if it's your turn, your opponent's side of the field in turn 1 will still get highlighted before it comes your turn. Now usually when that happened, you assume that the opponent had cards like Maxi, like D-Shifter, like Artifact Lancia. So it tells you if your opponent has those hand traps in their hand. But after the recent update, what ends up happening is that even if the opponent has no hand traps, the game still goes over onto their side. It still highlights their field really quickly before you go into your own main phase 1. So at this point now, you do not know whether your opponent does have hand traps or not. So you have to go in blind. So it's happening, and as you guys know, combo decks are extremely weak against Maxi, especially Prank Kids, because once you commit your Meowmo to the play, you are done. That's it. You need to go into your play afterwards, otherwise you lose the game if you have no way to recycle out the Meowmo or push past your opponent's board once you commit Meowmo and they Maxi you. So I'm going to start my turn off by activating the right. I'm not going to activate the Enchantress from my hand. Is because I was thinking I wanted to banish out the Enchantress from my hand with the Roxy's activation so that if I draw into a Nemesis card, I will be able to recycle out the Enchantress, go into my Colossus. That's the whole reason why I did it this way. I know I could bait out the Ash Blossom with the Enchantress, but we can chain block the card activation. We could chain block the first graveyard activation through our Faithful Adventure anyways. Towards this, my opponent just hits me with Maxi. So obviously we are not going to take the Maxi challenge. I have no idea what the opponent is playing. I'm going in blind. So I just put the Faithful Adventure, he draws a card, we activate Faithful Adventure, I'm going to search for my Griffin, and I'm going to be pitching out the Enchantress from my hand. Of course, I'm not going to be pitching out any of the Prank Kids name or the Pandemonium or the Griffin, because with the Pandemonium plus 2 prank names, I could still go into Weather Washer on my opponent's turn. Weather Washer will pull 2 cards from the graveyard, put them on the field, which will be immune to destruction through battle for that turn. That was the whole idea behind this. With that, we set down Pandemonium, pass our turn over. Opponent's draw phase, he draws a card, activates the Pot of Extravagance. Now, if you ever see a Pot of Extravagance, you usually assume it's a Floo player or an Eldritch player, or nowadays even a Sky Striker player. And along with them now, UMI people, they play this card as well. So he banishes out 6, draws 2, towards which I chain my Griffin. Now I want to put the Omni on the field right here, right now, before he goes into any of his other play. He draws 2 and then he shows me he's playing UMI. He activates a War of Atlantis, which will search him for a Legendary Ocean, which is basically an UMI. So he gets the field spell in his hand, he's going to activate the field spell, I'm not going to negate any of this, then he activates Sonar from his hand. This is the card I wanted to negate, okay? This card allows them to put Jelly on the field, Jelly will be putting the Kairishin on the field, do not want to deal with that. I was hoping that once I negate this, he just passes his turn over, he did not hard draw Jelly. That was my only hope. So we negate out the Sonar, and I even chain my Pandemonium to this. Now keep in mind, if the opponent hard drew Jelly and he normals out Jelly, what ends up happening if he's trying to bait out the Omni with the Sonar and then he goes to Jelly play, What ends up happening is since he has Umi on the field, the jelly on the field comes active, right? It can negate a monster or a spell effect. So Pandemonium is a spell effect, so you need to activate Pandemonium right now before he can attempt to summon his jelly. Otherwise, you will be stuck with Pandemonium doing nothing on the field. So that's the reason why I chained my Pandemonium to my Griffin play. In case, that was a big in case for me right here. Obviously, the card we go into is Weather Washer, Sonar gets negated, and with that, the whole chain resolves. We get our Graveyard activation, chain block with our Faithful Adventure as well, and then activate my Weather Washer in the field as well. I have no Meowmoo in the graveyard, keep in mind, so I just tribute the Weather Washer, pull out the 2 cards I used to go into Weather Washer itself, which is the Dropsies plus the Roxies, put them on the field, special out Fansies with my Dropsies activation. From this guy normals out a Maiden of Aqua in face-up attack. After that, he tries to special out the Doom Kraken by popping my token along with the Maiden of Aqua. He gets it, I'm okay with that, don't care much for it. So he gets the pop off on my token. That means I cannot go, my Dracoback is gone as well, so I cannot bounce cards anymore. That's okay with me. He sets down 2 cards, goes into battle phase, whacks into one of the cards, immune to destruction through battle, okay? This card I pulled out through Weather Washer from my graveyard, so it's immune to destruction through battle. Big misplay on my opponent's part. Apparently he does not know how Weather Washer works, or he misplayed somehow. With that, he ends his turn. Good for us, let's see what we draw into. Draw into a Corridor. Now this Corridor is actually pretty insane top deck. The reason being, we have an Enchantress pitched in the graveyard. So now, we could banish out the Enchantress from the graveyard. That means we have a banished monster in our banishment pile. We get ourselves a Right. Right goes into face-up attack token. I even use my Fansies to link off into Meowmoo, activate Fansies from the graveyard, to which now, he chain links his There Can Be Only One. So this dude has a floodgate on the field, which is There Can Be Only One. Now, I don't know about you guys, I don't know what kind of deck list you play, but Prank Kids, they can play under There Can Be Only One. They do not care about this card, okay? There Can Be Only One and Skill Drain are the 2 floodgates Prank Kids do not care about because they can play under those floodgates. So, that does not matter to me. Of course, I have 2 Earth on the field, 2 Rocks on the field, so I'll be forced to get rid of 1, so I get rid of my Roxies on the field. I choose to keep my Meowmoo. Doesn't matter, we were going to use the Roxies, would have been useless anyways because I cannot banish out the Corridor from my hand. So that's the reason why I pitched the Roxies over Meowmoo. With that, we special out a copy of Lamseys. Now over here I have a choice, okay? Your Doodle-Doo is a Thunder type monster, alright? Your Corridor also is a Thunder type, your Colossus is also a Thunder type. So if you put Corridor on the field, you cannot go into Colossus. If I go into Doodly-Doo, I cannot put the Corridor on the field. What I should have done right here was go into my Doodle-Doo, get a special, then go into my Bow Wow, get another special, then put the Corridor on the field once I'm done going through all my Thunder monsters. Instead, what I ended up doing was I just specialed out the Corridor on the field. Now, the reason for this is that we have no way to get our pranks back, okay? I had no way to get my pranks back currently. That's the whole, also I don't know what this card face down set was, right? I was worried about it, so I thought if it's Doodle-Doo, if it's Imperm, going into Doodle-Doo will just outright kill me. I will go through a lot of materials, and if it's Imperm, Doodle-Doo cannot tribute itself to pull out cards, and once you put a Thunder monster, you cannot go into your second Doodle-Doo because of There Can Be Only One. So I decided to go into my Corridor into using my opponent's Doom Kraken, link off into Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess being a Fiend monster, so it doesn't matter. With the Faithful Adventure, I search for Enchantress and pitch the Enchantress as well. Now, once I go into battle phase, this guy Ice Barriers me. So Ice Barrier, he's going to do that to me. Doesn't matter, our Goddess still, as long as the Goddess is not targeted, it doesn't matter what the thing happens to Goddess, right? This card is only affected by targeted effects. This card does not target. The Ice Barrier does not target, so we're good. He searches for a kaiju. I know my goddess is about to get kaiju'd, doesn't matter to us that much. We whack him in the face for 5k and our turn. With that, the opponent's draw phase. We already know he has a kaiju, so of course he's going to kaiju out our goddess. Gives me a turtle and face-up attack, 2.4k attack, 3.2k defense. Sets down one monster face down, sets down another card face down, ends his turn. My turn, I end up drawing into Imperm. Now, Imperm is a pretty dead card, but keep in mind, I had pitched the Enchantress in the graveyard the turn prior, okay? So we're going to activate the Enchantress from the grave, banish it, search for a copy of Right from the graveyard added to our hand. We're going to activate the Faithful Adventure, get a search for a Griffin, pitch out the Right because I want to keep the Imperm in my hand in case things go down south. So with that, we're going to special out Griffin since we do control a token. Set down Imperm in the there can be only one column. Now, I was not expecting this, okay? I was not expecting a Maiden of Aqua to be set down on the field. I was expecting to be something like Ash Blossom or something. So I was thinking I had lethal, right? I just whack into it with my Griffin because I wanted to use up my Omni Negate first in case he had some activations afterwards. Turns out, bad play, I missed lethal. So I have to whack into this card with Kaiju, whack him in the face for 2k with my token, end my turn with that. Now we now have an Omni Negate on the field. So if he tries to do anything, our Omni Negate can come in handy. Terraforming, he searches for another Umi, we don't care much for it, we allow it to go through. He goes into battle phase, ends his turn, that's okay with me. Next turn, turn change, we go into our turn, draw phase, I draw into Drill Logbird. Useless card, so I go straight into battle phase. Try to whack him out with Griffin. Again, you want to use your Omni Negate as an attack first in case your opponent does do some shenanigans. He activates the Dark Reef. Now this card will be putting two Umi monsters on the field, so I do not want that to happen. Obviously, we are going to use the Griffin to negate that card out. Apparently, he had nothing to counter this, so it goes through. Now I still have 4.2k damage on the field, so I just go into my whack, BM him by killing him with his own Kaiju. That's going to be it for today's game, guys. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank video uploads. If you guys are interested in the live version of all this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description stuff for you guys to check out. This is JPBduel signing out for today. I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace!